is Sheila on the line with Victory Kidz. Hope you all are doing great this evening. It's a beautiful night. I just walked into the church and right outside, the beautiful moon. That's God. That's awesome. I hope you all are doing fine and staying warm because it is kind of cool out there. So tonight I'm here and I've got some fish here in front of me. All different kinds of little fish. And do you know that, first of all, have y'all ever gone fishing before? It's kind of fun, but it's a lot of work. I know I've gone fishing before and I have not been very successful. I got a dogfish one time, and I remember one time I was going and I was with the reel, and oh my Lord, it was heavy, and I'm thinking I'm going to get this huge fish, and it happened to be that the line was stuck under the pier. So, I mean, all kinds of things can go on with fishing. But when we talk about fishing, you think about all those fish under the sea, right? All kinds of shapes and sizes, colors, different sorts, different kinds, but they live under the sea. And tonight, I'm going to tell you a little story about a fish. This fish was named Finny. And listen to how this fish can be like you and I. Finny swam slowly past the enticing morsel dangling just inches away. He could almost taste the scrumptious delicacy. The young fish wanted to gobble up the worm, but all the warnings that were drilled into his head by the older fish kept him from doing so. Finny had his doubts about the advice the older fish continued to give him. He did not see how something so delicious could be so dangerous. The older fish probably told the younger fish those horror stories, so there would be no fish for us, no food for us. Were the stories true? Finny decided that he would have to find out by himself. He turned and swam back to the worm. He did not see any steel or sharp barbed wire hooks. All he saw was the worm. He opened his mouth wide and then felt a dull thud in his side. Finny's uncle had rammed into him and pushed him away from the worm. "What in the deep blue water is wrong with you?" demanded Uncle Corky. "Do you think we warn you about the hook just for the fun of it?" Finny stammered. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if the stories are true." Uncle Corky closed his eyes and said with a broken voice, "Follow me. It is time to see what the hook can do." Finny followed his uncle to the shallows, which were close to the shoreline. Before there was countless fish, many swimming on their sides and barely alive. Others had gaping rips in their jaws and were unable to eat. It was a brutal sight, one that Finny would not soon forget. Just then, a bird swooped down and scooped up one of the fish that had been swimming on its side. Uncle Corky explained, "See, the stories are true. I wish you would have believed without being brought to the shallows." Even as the two fish swam away, Finny recalled the stories that some clever fish were able to take the worm without being hooked. A prideful thought entered his mind. Maybe these broken fish had not been as smart or as fast as I am. Day after day, Finny continued to see enticing morsels floating in the water. They came in all kinds of shapes and colors. Finny would swim closer and closer to the bait, slowing down with each pass he took. One fateful day, the temptation got the better of Finney, and he swallowed the bait. Why, it's not tasty at all. It tasted like plastic, he thought with horror. Before Finney could spit out the bait, he felt a sharp pain in his jaw, and began to feel as though he was being pulled through the water. The young fish put up a good fight, but his strength was gone. He knew that he had lost the fight. There would not be another day. You see, boys and girls, this fish thought that he was strong. He thought that he was able to dodge that bait. That was temptation right there for that fish. But even although he had been told stories by the older fish, the fish that knew, the fish that were still swimming there because they made it, because they learned to listen to the older fish before then. But Finney was rebellious. He said, no, I think it's just because they don't want us little fish to eat the other fish. They're going to be greedy with their food. They just don't want us to eat. He was making up all kinds of stories. And then he decided, you know what? They're probably not as strong as I am. And he went for the bait. And you know what, boys and girls? That's just exactly how it is. The devil, Satan, we call him Satan, he puts all kinds of baits out in front of us. Every day that's going to happen in our life. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be things that he's going to put. There's going to be things that it looks good and it looks fine and it looks okay, but it's not. Just like what happened to Finney. Finney really thought it was okay. And in the end, he was like, ooh, that was nasty. It tasted like plastic. You know why it tasted like plastic? Because when you go fishing, you use bait. And you use other little things that hang off the hooks that look like bait, but it's plastic. And it's a trick for the fish to come and get. And sometimes they make it, but the majority of the times they don't make it. And the devil does not want us to make it in our walk with Christ. Look, this is a picture of Finney right here. He's all happy. He's got his eyes on this bottom that happens to be plastic, but he doesn't see these hooks. And that's how it is in the fishing world. You go out there, you go out to the front of the bay. Right now, if you were to go out there, you would see people fishing. And there's some serious fishers. And they put on all kinds of different kinds of baits because fish need different kinds of bait that's going to be attractive. And the devil, that's exactly what he does. Like when the pastor tells you something, it's not because he doesn't want you to enjoy life or he doesn't want you to have fun or that he's getting after you. Oh, it's just because he doesn't want me. No, it's because he cares. The teachers, we tell you, just like this fish had already been trained by the other older fish. Don't do this, don't do that. But Finney decided to go along with it. All that he heard from the older fish, he just put it to the side. And this is what we don't want for you to happen with you guys in Victory Kidz. That's why we teachers come every Sunday, every Wednesday, and we want to teach you something that's going to help you, to grow. So if you want to get hooked, look, I have a little fishing thing here. This is one of the games that the younger elementary kids like to play. And all you do is you get your little line. It has a magnet right here. It has a magnet on the fish. And there you go. And you catch a fish. And that's how the devil wants you to do it. He wants you to come. Just like Finney was going around and around and going around and trying to avoid, and just one day he didn't make it. And that's what happens when we play with sin. This fish was prideful. This poor fish was rebellious. This fish was disobedient. And sometimes we don't realize it when we're talking about we're doing something that we don't realize. But no, when you're pastor, when you're teacher, when you're parents, even when you're doctor, do you know that you guys know that my favorite fruit is a banana? Do you know that last week I went to my doctor and my doctor told me, Miss Sheila, you can't eat bananas. And do you know that I had the audacity to say to the doctor, are you sure I'm not able to eat bananas? Because I was being rebellious. How do I know better than a doctor? And you know, the bananas right now are like a bait for me. I see bananas all over the place. I had to get rid of the bananas from my house. I go to pastor's house. What's in the fruit bowl? Bananas. I go to HEB, I have to pass by the bananas. But I'm not going to go for that. Because you know why? The doctor knows best. Yeah, I'm going to miss the bananas. It's just like some stuff we feel like we're missing. Like, for instance, one of the things that we teach you kids is what you're listening to, be careful. Be careful what kind of music you listen to. Be careful with what kind of people you hang out with. Be careful to listen the right way. Oh, no, that's not what she said. You know, we can turn it around. And that's just the snares of the way the enemy wants us to go with it. The best thing to do, guys, is to chew on God's word. Chew on God's word. You ever ate gum? Okay, when you get a piece of gum, you put it in your mouth, and it's a little bit hard at first, right? Well, that's a little bit how it is with God's word. It's a little bit hard to understand. But then you get to taste that little bit of the fruit or whatever the taste of the gum is. The flavor starts to come out, and it starts to taste good. But in the gum, just like 5-10 minutes, what happens? The taste of that gum is gone. You're going to spit it out. You're going to throw it away. You're going to swallow it. I had a child that would swallow all the time. I said, what happened to your gum? It's in my tummy. So I would give him another little piece. Now, don't swallow it. No, I won't swallow it. Okay. What happened to your gum? It's in my tummy. You know, because gum does not taste, its taste does not stay. Well, how do you know how God's word tastes if you don't listen to it or hear it, or even on video? Look there's all kinds of different kinds of Bibles. We want you to chew on God's word so that you're not going to end up like Finney. Look, this is a picture like Finney. Look at that happy face, that plastic, that he was tricked. You're not going to go for the snares of the enemy that doesn't want nothing good for your life. We just want you to, things that you've been taught, go with it. Learn it. Go with it. Go share it with others. I love you guys. We want the best for you all. We don't want for you all to fall in through the cracks of things that are just horrible out there. Life is great. Life is amazing. When you have Jesus in you and he's guiding you, he's not going to drag you through the water like what happened to this fish. Their end was being dragged to their death. And then all of a sudden a bird comes and gets a fish, and it's gone. All those fish are under the sea right now. They've made it because they haven't gotten hooked onto one of those hooks. But eventually it's a fish that's going to get them, or they're going to get hooked. Don't get hooked, guys. I love you all. Thanks for joining. Have a great weekend. Wednesday, we are having our Thanksgiving dinner. You all come. Victory Kids in the back. We're going to have an awesome Thanksgiving dinner for you kids. We love you. We're praying for you. Until we see you next time. Bye. Love you.